What is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSIn, back with another reaction video. This one is called The Vapid Influencer Who Killed Her Family. And it's by the YouTube channel Dire Trip. So as always, link to the video and link to the channel will both be in the description below. Let's get to it. This video, if this video is later...
When a somewhat popular
The videos on this channel tend to revolve around crimes, horror, and strange, often disturbing stories. If you find that kind of thing disturbing, please reconsider watching this video. If this video is later found to contain a mistake, the correction will be listed at the top of the description. Please check the description for any corrections if you feel something is amiss.
When a somewhat popular transgender influencer came to be charged with a horrific crime, both sides of the media went into a frenzy, arguing over where the blame should be. All while, up until this point, the warning signs that something like this might happen had been ignored time and time again.
Damn, son.
The subject of today's video on Instagram...
Hold on, because the closed caption is not showing.
When a somewhat popular transgender influencer came to be charged with a horrific crime, both sides of the media went into a frenzy, arguing over where the blame should be. All while, up until this point, the warning signs that something like this might happen had been ignored time and time again.
It seems that happens a lot. Not a lot, but it happens more often than
The subject of today's video, an Instagram model and influencer, Nikki, was born in the year 2000 as Nicholas Secondino out in New Jersey to her father, Carlo, and her mother. After a few years, the family would go on to have one more child, her sister Liana. Nikki has said that, since she was 5 years old, something felt different about her, causing her to have what she called meltdowns whenever she was forced to wear boys' clothing. She instead wanted to try on the more girlish clothes that her sister had been given.
I hated wearing that. That shirt was that before this picture. I don't even remember it, but my mom said when she took this picture, I was so like, just to get that shirt on was a problem. But I was like wearing like these cute little bonnets and like I had like a little purse on my freaking shoulder. Like I was already developing a flavor already.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep a lookout for any warning signs.
With this, combined with her lack of any initiative to socialize, she was taken to a psychologist when she was 6 years old. This psychologist went on to diagnose her with both gender dysphoria and a possible personality disorder, but noted that it was too early to come to a full conclusion given that she was only 6. At the age of 11, Nikki had proceeded into a bad downward spiral, having problems with school, problems socializing, and problems getting along with her family.
Or anything. Like I didn't get bullied because I have a very big mouth. Like I'm very protective of myself, so I wouldn't let myself get bullied.
She started seeing both a psychologist and a therapist at the urging of her mother. At some point during her early teens, the family moved into a New York neighborhood with their father working as both a delivery man for a local diner and a worker at a nearby restaurant. The family continued going to a local church, although Carlo didn't seem to take it too seriously. Nikki's mother, though, got a bit more engrossed in the religion.
There were people in our town, this is before they got divorced, but people in our town who were like, how could you do that to your child? Like, how could you let something like that happen? Like, obviously something's wrong. That's not what God wants. It's a sin. It goes against everything, whatever. So, you know, my dad is very Italian. So he had used something, he was religious, but he says, if you think that everything in the Bible is true, then you must be crazy. He says, if you think that Mary, the mother of Jesus, got impregnated by some supernatural force, that human sperm, and you're going to tell me how to raise my child? No, thank you. So my dad had a strong personality. Like he didn't like let it affect it. My mom surprisingly took it a little harder than my dad did, believe it or not.
Contrary to how you might have seen this story going, with the full support of her father, Carlo Secondino, she went on to fully transition into a woman in her late teens. Her father even paid for the gender reassignment surgery in full himself. Her family had felt that her gender identity was probably the root of all of her problems, feeling that the rebellious and antisocial tendencies were the result of the gender identity issues, and hopefully nothing deeper. Unfortunately, they would come to see that even after gender reassignment surgery, her anger issues wouldn't come to go away that easily. At some point, Nikki's mother left the family entirely, separating from her father for reasons that still haven't been made clear.
Damn, so I'm wondering if her ties to the mom's ties to religion, since she took it on so strongly, was that the reason? Did those ties help her push away from her family and from her daughters? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
At that time, my parents were separated for their own reasons, not because of me. Because most people are going to think that they separated because I'm trans, but no. They separated for their own issues.
Okay. At 19, Nikki was going to school for fashion and business management while doing some modeling on the side.
Okay.
While doing interviews on YouTube and modeling on Instagram, Nikki became somewhat of a transgender icon, amassing about 16,000 followers over a short period of time. She even talked about her transitioning on a few different podcasts online. She described herself as a public figure, model, and living lookbook, whatever that means. And despite Nikki being in the career and position she was in, she would often say things that would leave a lot of people, even within her own community, not really liking her.
Uh-oh.
It's just funny how people in the community could be just as judgmental as people outside of the community. So how does it feel to see like a woman who's like more muscular than most guys? They look so muscular that they don't even look female anymore. You know, like some of those bodybuilder women, just like one of my best friends from high school, he's gay, he does drag. But like it's almost like a clown. Like I don't want to be mean, but like it's kind of like the symbol, like you put on makeup and dress, it's for entertainment purposes.
Nikki and her father had what people around them described as a complicated relationship.
Okay.
Yadira Gomez, who worked alongside Carlo at the restaurant called Mike's Diner, said that despite how supportive he was of his daughter, the two still butted heads pretty often. She said, to quote, "He will just tell you she's crazy, she's fighting all the time, she's all the time fighting.
Damn.
He would just say she has problems. He was always working here all day, but during the day he would always say she's crazy, she's got some issues, problems that she doesn't want to work out."
Damn.
She said that, despite the problems, Carlo was still very supportive, adding, he was there to take care of her after the surgery. He supported her 100%, saying to his daughter, "Whatever you want to do, I'll support you."
So at least, you know what I'm saying, at least he supported her no matter what, even though every now and then he was like, yo, she crazy right now. She going through some shit. She doing, there's some things that she doesn't want to face, problems she doesn't want to face, deal with or whatever. But at least he supported her, right? So like, I wonder what made her want to kill him as well. Like into her family. It said her family. Like what? Her sister too?
Neighbors of the family said that Carlo, Nikki, and her sister Liana would often argue so loudly that the entire neighborhood could hear what was going on. The police had even been called out to the home several times throughout the years, usually on reports of domestic violence. On one occasion, Nikki had even called the police saying that her father had been threatening to kill her younger sister. On another occasion, she called saying that her father had slapped her in the face.
Come on, that doesn't sound
about right. After a few of these
right.
calls, Nikki was granted a temporary order of protection against both her father and sister. Nikki had claimed that her dad was in the mafia and had threatened violence against her. During an argument, her younger sister had torn down some window blinds and cut Nikki's hand. As a result, her sister was charged with both assault and criminal mischief.
Damn.
Carlo's co-worker said that, although the family often fought, they were pretty beloved in the workplace.
Okay.
Carlo particularly got the bulk of the praise, with co-workers saying, these girls were abandoned by their mom when they were little, so he was the only one there as a mother figure and a father figure.
Right.
The co-workers didn't shy away from discussing the problems within the family, though, saying, domestic problems, I'm talking black eyes. It's such a shame that this happened, but who knows what really happened.
Damn.
One night, one of Nikki's neighbors was awoken by banging on the door. Nikki was slamming her fist against the door, screaming in horror, yelling, oh my god, open the door. The neighbor felt that something was off, that the screaming didn't sound real. She had seen and heard incidents like this before, saying of the family, every time when they argue there was banging. Because the walls are just sheetrock, I would hear everything. Speaking of this incident, she added, I saw the blood in the hallway, so I immediately closed my door and didn't want to get involved. She was able to see a body outside, recalling he was just lying there. His head was facing toward the window, the kitchen window. He was face up, lying on his back.
What the fuck?
This neighbor then called 911 and locked herself in her apartment, waiting to see what would come of this. When the police came out, they found Carlos Secondino dead on site.
Shit.
There wasn't anything they could do to help him. He was already gone. They found Liana in critical condition, but still alive, covered in stab wounds. Nikki was there herself with minor wounds as well.
Bruh.
Both of the siblings were rushed to the hospital. Nikki told the police that 2 men had broken into the home, one black and one white, dressed in all black clothing at around 6 a.m. and demanded money from the home safe. She said that they then attacked the whole family, sexually assaulted her, and fled the scene on foot. The neighbors, upon hearing about all of this, definitely feared for their own safety as well. Most of them noted that, although the murder rates were down in New York City, robbery and assault rates were up.
Sexually assaulted her, not the sister. That's already messed up. No, I'm saying, it's the story is already sounding like weird. Like, why would, like, wouldn't they attack the sister as well? Like, since if they're already going that far, I don't know.
Figured that this same sort of thing might happen to them at any time. The police, however, immediately started noticing inconsistencies in her story.
Yeah, that's what
For
I'm saying.
one, the window in the home seemed to have been broken from the inside, automatically making them question why it was broken in the first place. Blood was smeared around the window itself, but it couldn't have been how the robbers entered the house. The home also had surveillance equipment, none of which showed any evidence of a break-in. They didn't find any evidence of a break-in at all in the end. They also came to find out that the Secondino family didn't even have a safe in their home.
Damn.
No large amounts of cash or really anything of substantial value was taken from the home either. Nothing really of value was in there in the first place. Moreover, Nikki's injuries definitely raised some flags.
Right.
The cuts on her hands were more consistent with someone slipping while holding a knife themselves, not those consistent with defending against one. Compared to her father and sister, her injuries were extremely insignificant.
Holy
some
shit.
statements that she made raised some concerns as well, although the police haven't really made it clear what exactly she said that tipped them off. All of this aside, she was as good as done anyway. Liana flatly told the police, "My sister stabbed me. Have you seen my dad?"
She was still
It was
alive?
all looking worse and worse. Given the inconsistencies, the lack of injuries to Nikki, her history of mental illness, her anger problems, Liana's statements, they were left with very little doubt. As a result, Nikki quickly became the prime suspect in this case. Liana continued talking once she came to. From her hospital bed, she told the police that there were no home invaders at all. She said that this was all Nikki from the very beginning. The truth gradually started coming to light as the police, with Liana's help, started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Nikki and Carlo had apparently gotten into a fight the previous night over a laptop, of all things. Carlo then decided to sleep it off, going to sleep on the living room couch. Once he fell asleep, Liana said that Nikki then approached her 61-year-old father as he slept and bludgeoned him over the head with a hammer. She then took out a knife and stabbed him multiple times. Liana, hearing what she thought was a fight in the living room, came out to see what was going on. She then saw the pure carnage taking place in the living room. Liana tried to step between the two. That's when Nikki turned on her as well, stabbing her multiple times in her stomach, chest, her hands, and even her face.
Bro, what the
A neighbor
fuck?
of the family said that, shortly after, she was able to hear Nikki making a phone call in which she claimed that the family had been robbed and assaulted by home invaders. She said that she could hear screaming, with the father shouting out, "Please call the cops." Nikki Secondino, after recovering from the wounds to her hand in the hospital, was taken in. She was arrested for the murder of her father and the attempted murder of her sister.
Bro, what
Nikki
the
was
fuck?
then interrogated. The police were already well aware that she had fabricated the entire story of the robbery to hide her tracks, and it was obvious that she wasn't going to get away with this. She plainly revealed that, yes, she made the whole thing up to cover up for what she had done. She fully admitted to the crime, saying, "My father was sitting on the couch. I hit him on the head with a hammer. Then I reached for my favorite German knife and stabbed the shit out of him." Smiling, she continued, "My sister came out and tried to stop me, and I stabbed her in the back, head, and stomach. If I would have seen the 911 caller, she would have been next." The police escorted her out of the station, taking her straight to jail.
Bro, look how happy and chill she looks too. Like, maybe I don't know if I wasn't paying attention enough, but I didn't. From what he was he was describing, I didn't see any warning signs. Like, I know he mentioned the fights they got in and stuff like that, but it sounded like they were just getting into family arguments, and but I couldn't tell if the father had started it or if the daughter or if she had started it. and then they got over into a fight over a laptop, and that's what led to all this?
She seemed unmoved, smirking and remaining quiet as onlookers asked questions.
Damn.
The police charged her with murder, attempted murder, and criminal possession of a weapon. Things in the media got pretty heated when it came to light that a transgender influencer had been charged with murder and assault. As these things usually go, the incident became more about politics and gender issues than the actual crime at hand. Nikki was sent out to Rikers Island, where she has been held without bail ever since. She consistently refused to talk to reporters as she awaited her arraignment at Brooklyn Criminal Court. Her next court date was set for April. She was looking at a charge of second-degree murder, a charge of second-degree attempted murder, one of first-degree assault, and one more of fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon.
Over a laptop.
She was likely looking at around 50 years in prison at the least, life in prison at the most. She won't be given bond. Liana, being in such horrible condition, is still recovering in the hospital. Her friends and family have raised over $100,000 to help with her recovery and anything else she might need.
That's good to hear.
The district attorney, Eric Gonzalez, said, "This defendant is charged with brutally killing her own father and then stabbing her younger sister, allegedly following an argument over a laptop. My office will vigorously prosecute this horrific case and seek justice for the victims." Now, prosecutors believe that there was a little more to do with this case than just the fight over the laptop. They're saying that, although the fight with the laptop was likely the last straw, the thing that caused Nikki to snap in the end, it wasn't really the whole story. After years of family turmoil, abuse against both him and her younger sister, Liana, Carlo decided that it was time to kick Nikki out. He ordered her to get out of the home within 30 days. This was likely what got the whole fight started in the first place, with the final fight likely just being a last straw.
So she started.
Prosecutors have expressed their
fights.
interest in hitting Nikki with a life sentence once proving that she's guilty beyond any reasonable doubt. We'll just have to see what happens. Once again, thank you for watching my video. I know that this one is going to have a pretty awful comment section, so be careful of looking down there. If you found the video interesting, please give it a like, it helps out in the algorithm, and feel free to subscribe if you like content like this. If you want, go ahead and follow me on social media, I do some stuff on there too. If you want to support the channel even further, I do have a Patreon, which I keep linked down in the description below. There you can see videos early, ad-free, and uncensored. Speaking of which, shout out to the top patrons. We've got Anna B, Sunrider, Gabrielle Tansik, Lee aka Crust, Emilia Morales, Minnie Tina.
So, like, wow. R.I.P. Dad, his only mistake was trying to help. That's the psycho. I swear half the murders in this domestic violence situations are because someone finally tells another person to get the hell out of the house. Damn, bro. But like, it's crazy because he supported her in everything she did. Like, now I see why every now and then he would say, you know, she's crazy or something like that. But it's probably because like she was starting fights with him and her little sister. But like, God, bruh, I'm all against domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? If that shit starts happening, call the cops or something. Call the cops or whatever. If it's, you know, if it's real domestic violence and not just a story somebody's trying to make up just to get someone else in trouble. But it sucks that after all of that, even fully paying for her transition and everything, he gets killed for it over telling her to get out because she kept starting fights with her sister and him. And of course, they can only take so much before it's like before it's enough, you know what I'm saying? And they have to get rid of him, have to tell him to get out. But damn, yo, honestly, you hate to see it, and like, I don't know what else to say, bro. But obviously, if you want to keep up, excuse me, up to date, like if any of the information that he like he said in the beginning, if anything was wrong or anything was you know, misguided or whatever, he's going to update the description and stuff like that. So I guess if, you know, as always, link to the channel and link to the video will both be in the description below, so be sure to check it out. Damn, son. But yeah, don't forget to do those 3 things I'd like to ask you to do while you're there. And like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace and much love to you. And let me know what you think about this, what happened here. It's, huh.